let's take a look at what we're actually doing with these pulling tools. Cobra, Rattler. They're both made with strong bungee cord. They're allowing us to set up energy with the rubber that's taking weight off the stuck sled so the track can move the sled again. I was under the misconception for a lot of years. I'd grab my buddy's ski, bend over in this miserable position, give him a tug on the ski, the sled would move forward, and I had the misconception that I was moving the sled. In fact, I was applying 200 pounds of pull for about a foot to about an 800-pound load. We got a guy on the sled, the ice and snow underneath it. We're trying to move 800 pounds with 200 pounds of pull. I can generally do that. Sled will come forward a bit, and then it stops. I quit pulling. Sled's back to trying to move all of that weight again. It can't do that. Spins out and it's stuck again. We go back to reset the track and start this over again. We've also always known that we should be able to pull farther. If we could pull farther to where this sled come on out of the hole and put its weight back on the skis, we'd have the sled out. But when we pull 8 inches or a foot at a time, the sled just stays in that trench and chews its way forward until we finally do get enough snow on it underneath it for it to bring itself out of this hole. When I'm using Rattler, I'm taking the same 200-pound body I was before, pulling sideways with my spine and some muscle. But now I set myself up in the snow and I lay back and I apply that energy with my weight and my legs, which makes it much easier to do. I'm increasing my pulling distance. Not only am I getting the extra distance the cord is pulling, but I put my body in an angle now to go on back in the snow as a guy comes by me and help him out farther. This is going to let me take that sled out of that hole and put its weight back up on the skis where it should be. Once again, we're putting 200 pounds of pulling tension on an 800-pound load. You need the track set, so you want to straighten the skis up where there's no restriction to snow underneath the front of them. Set your track, start taking weight off of it, and bring it out. When you start using these pulling tools, Cobra, there's a zillion ways to use it. You're going to use another stuck sled to pull with. My favorite way to use Cobra, come across the front of the stuck sled, guy stuck, nose up, tail down, come across of him. I'm going to point my sled downhill this way, back of my sled right here. I'm going to just hook into A-arm or spindle here someplace, the back of my sled with the Cobra. I'm just going to flat take off. Jerk him out of this hole sideways. If you do that maneuver, his tail's buried in the snow. You want him spinning the track when you take off, because if he's not spinning the track, you just start pulling and piling that snow up to the side, and it's harder to get him up and spin him out of there. If he's spinning his track will actually cut into that snow and start digging and chewing into the snow as it comes around, so it'll start moving that snow to the side as it comes around. He'll come up and out of the hole, and you turn him loose. That's the quickest way to use Cobra. Bunch of ways to use it. Rattler, we first started using Rattler for years. It seemed obvious. The only way we're going to use Rattler is to hook onto a ski loop, pull a guy forward. It was 4 years probably before I figured out how to use this tool by myself when I'm stuck. I've got my sled down in a hole, I've laid it over one side, I'm by myself again, packed snow underneath it, laid it over, packed snow on the other side, my track's up, ready to go, I've straightened my skis up. I'm down to the point where I'm having to stand beside my sled, throttle it, and hopefully push my way up out of this hole, spin my track and out. And I know if I just had somebody to give me a tug on a ski, I'd be out. Well, we figured out a way to do that with Rattler. What I'm going to do is just hook into my lift bar on the back of the sled, stand on the throttle side, plant myself in the snow. I'm going to lean forward, stretch that Rattler with my hand as far as I can on this side. It puts me right by my throttle. It's just like having the guy giving me 200 pounds of pull on my ski, but now I'm doing it by myself. I've got my track set, skis are ready to go, they're pointed the right direction. Hook up like this, leave my arms straight, lean forward as hard as I can, tap my throttle, spin my track, and if I have to do this a couple of times, reset myself again, spin my throttle. As a way for me to get myself out of this hole using this tool. These are just tools. Think about what you're doing with them and the best way to apply that energy to the job.